Looks like Russian hackers are getting a little bit ballsy, demanding $70 million. So, according to the story, Russian hackers are seemingly behind latest ransomware attack and they demand $70 million. So let's get right into it. So a Russian-linked group that is counted among the cybercriminal world's most prolific extortionists is suspected to be behind a colossal ransomware attack that affected hundreds of companies worldwide, just weeks after President Biden boasted about taking President Putin to task on cyber attacks. So in a post on a blog typically used by the Russian-linked Revil. Wow. Okay, so basically this is basically spelled like R evil, Revil, Revel. Cybercrime gang, a group of ransomware hackers, appears to be taking responsibility for the cyber attacks that hit over 200 US companies Friday, demanding $70 million in Bitcoin for the data to be returned. Now, again, I don't really understand why so many of these cyber criminals are doing things in Bitcoin, because the way that I see it, right? Why would you ask money in the form of something that is public, right? The addresses are public, and it probably would not be hard for the US government to figure out where they're trying to send the money, track everything, track where every single dime is actually going, and basically nabbing them. So I don't really understand that. I never understood why any criminal would ever actually use Bitcoin. I think that's just so stupid. Just personally. I feel like cash would probably make more sense, whether it be the US dollar or some other form of cash. I don't understand why you'd use something that is public information. So on Friday, we launched an attack on managed service providers. More than 1 million systems were infected, the posting on the dark website Happy Blog explained. So the post, written in broken English, requested the staggering price in exchange for the group releasing information to be able to regain access to sites in less than an hour. The blog is frequently used by the Revil group, which is considered among the world's most prolific cyber extortionists. So reps for Revil have declined to comment further to media outlets in the wake of the attack, and Friday's mass cyber attack, which cybersecurity firm Huntress Labs has blamed on the Russia-linked ransomware gang, hit at least 200 companies at the start of the Independence Day weekend. So Swedish grocery stores, schools in New Zealand, and 2 major Dutch IT firms were among the victims of Revil, which launched its attack on Friday after breaching the systems of US-based software firm Kaseya. After hitting Kaseya, a Florida-based IT company, the attack then spread through the corporate networks that use its software. So asked about the attack while in Michigan on Saturday, President Biden urged caution as U.S. authorities narrowed down and confirmed the source of the attack. We're not sure it's the Russians, he said, adding that he had been briefed on the matter and had instructed the intelligence community to find out more. See, now I find that interesting, right? Because nearly every time that Trump was in office, anytime that there was some sort of hack, they always blamed Russia. So why are they not blaming Russia right now, right? Even though it seems like Russia most likely did it. But I just find that kind of interesting. So the fact is that I've directed the intelligence community to give me a deep dive on what's happened, and I'll know better tomorrow. And if it is either with the knowledge of and or a consequence of Russia, then I told Putin we would respond, he said. Asked if he had already spoken to the Kremlin, Biden said he had not, as he was waiting for the intelligence community to confirm the information before acting. He then voiced doubts from those in the intelligence community about Russia being the source of the attack. We're not certain. The initial thinking was it was not the Russian government, but we're not sure yet. So ransomware is a malicious software that locks up a user's data. Hackers typically demand money, most frequently in cryptocurrency, to unlock or return the affected data. Ransomware and other cyber attacks have skyrocketed in recent months as U.S. foes worldwide, unable to successfully take on America's armed forces, turn their attention to our weaker digital defenses. FBI Director Christopher Wray revealed last month that in the US alone, the FBI is investigating about 100 different types of ransomware. His revelation came in the wake of the hack against JBS Foods in June, the world's largest meat supplier, and a similar attack on Colonial Pipeline in May. So REvil was responsible for the JBS hack, and during his summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin last month, Biden said he addressed Russia's safe harboring of cyber criminals responsible for the string of recent attacks. And House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy referenced that back and forth on Twitter Saturday after news of the hack began to circulate, calling the president soft on crime and weak against Putin. Remember when President Biden gave Putin a list of things that were supposed to be off limits for cyber attacks? What he should have said is that all American targets are off limits, the top-ranking House Republican wrote on the social media platform. I'm going to feel free to give your thoughts about that, right? So, was it the Russians? Who knows? Could be. Might not be. We don't know. We'll probably never truly know. If we do, so be it, right? The thing is, it doesn't really change the fact that these companies were hacked, right? That's the fact. These companies were hacked, right? And it puts people in vulnerable positions. That being said, I think these hackers, whether they be Russian or not, are getting kind of ballsy, trying to demand $70 million for what they did. But either way, who knows if they're going to get paid? Who knows how much money they made? I don't know. But the thing is, it still just doesn't make sense. Like, personally, I don't understand why there's so many of these hackers hacking these massive corporations. Now, obviously, if these corporations are like publicly traded, then probably the shareholders are like, hey, just give them the money and like free up the stuff and then you'll be okay or whatever, right? Which may or may not actually happen, right? Because here's the thing, right? What is the guarantee that any of these hackers will actually give the people what they want? Right? Like, these people are criminals who are constantly committing crimes, right? What's to stop them from just not doing it, right? Obviously, their hearts are in the wrong place for hacking a whole bunch of companies, right? And demanding money. So, I don't know. Feel free to give your thoughts if you stumble upon this episode, but I just think it's kind of odd. I think these hackers are getting kind of ballsy. I think they're probably demanding way too much money. But either way, it's interesting to see, right? Because it's interesting to see, not in the sense that, these hackers are doing this or that they're successful at doing this. I think it's interesting to see that basically warfare is leaning more and more and more into like cybersecurity, which might make more sense that individuals might be getting into more cybersecurity insurance or like hacking insurance or like identity theft insurance, that kind of stuff, just because it could probably help them protect themselves from like random hackers like this that are going to try to steal their identity or all this other kind of nonsense. And I guess like another way to look at it, right, is that maybe saying a whole bunch of this stuff might get someone to do something like an umbrella policy when it comes down to insurance, right? Because I'm not 100% certain, but I believe there are some policies that are deemed like the umbrella policy where you could have like $1 million of like an umbrella policy or like 10 million for pretty cheap per year, right? Paying it per year. And it's basically like a insurance policy that will pretty much cover like a whole bunch of like things, right? On a whole, right? Which should probably also cover this as well, which would be something to kind of like think about or look up or do more research on. Because, here's the thing, right? I would hate to see someone end up getting hacked and then end up losing all their money or something, right? Like an individual. Because like an individual, they only have so much money that they make. And if they are not managing their money correctly, if a hacker steals like $1,000 from their account or like $10,000 from their account or all the money that they saved, they're kind of screwed, right? So you don't want to see something like that. So if anyone out there, manage your money correctly, but also maybe get some like sort of insurance or something to help protect you.